Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Celtic Unrestricted View podcast. My name is Ryan Clifford, and join me in this Glasgow derby build-up is Barry. Barry, as I says, mate, build-up to the Glasgow derby, Scottish Cup semi-final against the Rangers at Hampden. Big match, mate, ahead of which could be a very, very exciting end of the season.
Yeah, good to see you, Ryan. Great to be here, and the build-up is on. The excitement levels are through the roof. I've had the tunes on in the house. I've had my wife shouting at me because I've been playing them too loud. And what a day it promises to be, Ryan. I mean, what is on the line here is a possibility of a clean sweep once again of all the domestic titles. That's what we're going for here, and what an amazing way to put ourselves one step nearer to that than to beating the Rangers. So it promises to be an exciting, 50-50 fans, right? The way it should be.
Yep.
Proper fans in the stadium, so there's going to be some spectacle, and I'm a bit jealous, mate, because you're going to it and I'm not.
I think it's like you say, mate, it's one of the games where the 50-50 fans again pressure on the both teams. Obviously we're going to inform. They are going to obviously the back a good victory against Braga in a semi-final in the European Cup. So it's the two teams are going to this on form. Obviously, derby wise, we are 2-0 up the last two games. So obviously they won the first game, but I think the onus is on us to go and take the game to Rangers. Obviously, the way we play, the way they're going to probably play is maybe, for me, Barry, I don't know if he'll be the wee man, as we call him on the podcast. Gio change his podcast change his system, because we all know that if they come and attack us, we will just pick them off. That's just the way we play. So will he change his tactics and go into the game to sit back and counter? That's the way I think he'll do it. I don't think they'll come out all gun-ho like they did at the last game, because I don't think they'll do it, because I think we'll expect it this time. So for me, Barry, I think they will try and just sit and counter and let us play, which I think will play into our hands, Barry. As you say, massive park at Hampden. Looks like it's going to be a decent day weather-wise, massive park, so I can't see any excuses otherwise anyway.
Well, it's a good point you make, Ryan. It's what does Gio do? Because he's for me he's caught between a rock and a hard place, because in the previous two games he's lost both, and for me he's played two different ways. When he came to Parkhead, that was definitely their approach. They wanted to soak up that pressure, and they thought they had enough to break and get their goals that way. But obviously that didn't work. And then Ibrox, they were on the front foot, they were pressing high. Okay, they did get their goal for it, but it proved that way of playing, they couldn't sustain it. And if they did continue to play that way at Ibrox, we opened them up. You know, we created chances, we played through them. So if you're in his shoes, what do you do? I mean, this is a cup semi-final. It's a one-half match. You've lost your previous two games. I don't really know how he approaches it. If he tries to sit in, I think that we'll run for the top of him. And if he comes to play and press us high, I think we showed in glimpses at Ibrox that we can play through them. So I wouldn't want to be in his shoes, mate.
Yeah, I agree, Barry. I think we've got upper hand on how we play personally. I think it is all about how we play. I think if we bring our A game, I think there's only one winner. I've said that in previous years, even last year. Sorry, even last year when we were doom and gloom and not really winning football games, I still felt if your Browns, your Edwards, your Christies, your McGregors, if they all turned up, I still felt we would win the game, even though we were not doing very well. I think now, if we all turn up, like, listen, I don't think we turned up brilliantly at Ibrox. I thought we just professionally done the game. We seen it out. We done today. We defended very well, and we went to attack. We attacked, but I still feel we've got 2, 3, 4 gears to go up. The way Rangers played, can they play much better than that? I can't see that, Barry. From what I've seen of them this year, take away the European game, because European mindset's totally different to domestic levels and pressure. European football, the pressure's off, really. You can just play your game and you can hopefully win, and it's a bonus. But European games are totally different. But domestic games, as you've seen this year, games they've had to win, they've not really done well in. They've drew games, and let's be fair, that game against us recently, they had to win. They had to win it. The pressure was on them, and their arses collapsed. They got a goal up, and they went, "Oh, that's us." But boom, the character of Celtic and the way we are playing, as Ange says, we don't fucking stop. We don't celebrate to the end of the match when we fucking win, and the fruits of that are starting to come. Some people were laughing at him, Barry, at the start of the season when we seen that mic drop. We were all laughing at him. Oh, we don't stop. We don't this. There was a lot of these fucking posters going about him on social media, and you look at it now, mate. What he's been saying is spot on. He's fucking. We don't stop. We don't stop. And I think no matter the result for the last 5 minutes to the last 10 minutes, if it's 1-0 to us, 10-0 to us, they're winning the game. We won't fucking stop, because that's the way we are. So I'm agreeing with you, Barry. No matter the way Gio plans his system, I think it's all about how we turn up. If we turn up to their game, mate, I can only see one winner.
Same, mate. And that's what's been so amazing to be a Celtic fan this year, is you know what you're going to get to your team. You think back to, well, last season, I know we've always come back to that, but I mean, the inconsistency was, and the unpredictability of how those players were going to perform, it just caused you anxiety every week. Now, you look at this team and you say, well, we know exactly what we're going to get. We know we're going to get high energy. We know we're going to get players filling in all sorts of positions. We know we're going to get a team that's going to pressurise the opponents. And we know that, think back to a few months back when, I think it was, who was it we played at Parkhead? We played a cup game at Parkhead, and you could hear Ange shouting at the defenders.
Oh, was it Raith Rovers?
Raith Rovers, that was the one, mate.
Welsh, wasn't it?
You shouted at Welsh, that's right, and we were winning at the time. So Ange Postecoglou has maintained, for the minute he gets in the doors of the club, certain standards must be met. And if the players don't meet these standards, there'll be consequences. But I don't think he's really had to show that side of him with the players, because he's such an inspirational figure that those players, they just want to do everything he asks them to do. So we know what we're going to get for our team today, which makes you feel confident. But I don't think they can say the same. The big question mark for me, Ryan, I'll pose this question to you, mate. Will Kyogo start?
It is a tough one, because you've still got, I know this is a massive game, but you've still got important games to come. And I don't want him to do what he done against Betis and play him and leave us with fuck all. Do you know what I mean? I still believe we're in a better place for that, but so you can maybe play Maeda through the middle, or you can play Abada through the middle if Kyogo doesn't play there. So you've got a lot of options, but I think because of just the way we're playing, I think I would play Maeda through the middle, and I would play Abada and Jota, and keep Kyogo on the bench, because it means you've got Maeda to run the legs for 60 minutes, or Abada for 60 minutes, and then put him on. You've got the very, very fruits of a good option here, because either way, you've got Ethereum starting or Ethereum on the bench. You've got both. You've got, for me, I think JP says it in a few podcasts now. I'm totally agreeing. We're getting to the stage now, Barry, where teams are starting to fear us now. You look in the tunnel, and you go, like, he's playing today. And right away, people who might not play football, or people who don't really think it is a big thing, see if you're still in the tunnel and you know these guys are playing, it gives you a lift. It gives you a lift. When you know, listen, Mason's all played Sunday football, Saturday football, pro youth and whatever. See if you've seen a guy who was a very good player in your team and say he was maybe injured or he was maybe struggling for a game and he turned up. Oh, brilliant. He's playing today. Do you know what I mean? People say it gives you a lift. So for me, Barry, as much as I think he's a top draw player, Aberdeen's got a lot of goals this year. Jota's due a massive game. Jota's due to score again. So I think the day could be a game for Jota to turn up. I think Jota's due to turn up for a big game. No say he's not played well because he's played well all season, but the last 3 or 4 games he's been quiet, but he's been effective, if that makes sense. But for me, Barry, I think I would play my header through the middle and Aberdeen Jota down the wings. And if you're struggling for a goal or you need to see the game out for more pressure, you can bring on a wee man in maybe 60 minutes, 65 minutes.
Aye. No, I mean, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? We'll all be watching for that starting lineup to come out, and that's probably what we're all going to look at. I think maybe will it be Rogic or O'Reilly and will Kyogo start? But I think what you say makes a lot of sense. I mean, that front three is frightening. Maeda, Jota and Abada. Rapid. There's goals, there's creativity, there's work rate. And Joe something, if that is the front three, you would probably see the 3 of them interchanging. That's something I've noticed with Jota playing on the right. Him and Maeda are quite happy at times to switch over. And we've seen Abada play through the middle. That guy is a real goal threat when he plays there. So it could be something that, how would they live with that? How would their back four deal with that? You know, players moving all the time and they don't know who's pressing them, they don't know who's running in behind them. I think that could be a real asset for us if he does go with that. But there's a wee part of me, Ryan, just is desperate to see Kyogo in that starting lineup playing through the middle because his only game against them, he played out the left and he wasn't very effective, and yet when he went through the middle, he almost scored instantly. He had a chance straight away. So they're the kind of things that stick out in people's minds. I think their defenders, they'll be well aware of that. And as you're saying about, you know, when you're playing football yourself and you're watching your team and you see a certain player playing, you do look over and go, I wish he wasn't starting today. So I think Kyogo in the starting 11 would give the Celtic fans a major lift in that stadium. But I also think their players would be looking at that going, right, we've got him to deal with as well. We've lost the last 2 games against them without him in the side, and we're up against him today, and he's in the team. And it's I don't know what you think, Ryan, but in terms of the psychology of this match, they've lost the last 2 games against us, and you said that. See that last game they played against us? They needed to win that match. It would do or die, and they lost. So you have people are only human. You have to imagine that that's going to be in their thought processes today. If not all the players, definitely certain ones of them are going to be thinking the lack of belief. No.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, they've had a massive result during the week for them. A lot of Celtic fans are saying don't say anything about it because fuck them and all that, etc. Listen, you get a semi-final, any Scottish team that gets that's brilliant. That's what I'm going to say on it because they'll win to this game the high on that sense. But like you say, the psychology in the last 2 games, mate. And like a few of the listeners have commented saying the way we're going to play, high pressure, the tempo, the loads of options we've got. Even guys we've no mentioned who are in the squad. Well, they're in the squads, but they might not win the match day squads or Johnson's. Yeah, Ayetis, £5 million strikers sitting on the bench, sometimes not even playing in the squad. So it shows you the depth we've got. O'Reilly might step in, what about Rogic? You've got all these question marks about who we play, and you probably know who they're going to play. they might make a one or two change due to injuries, but we can make so many changes. And like Jason just says there, how do they prepare? How do they prepare? They don't know if it's going to be McGregor. Oh, well, McGregor will play, but either Hatate, will it be Riley, will it be Rogic, will it be... I know it's not going to be a Yeti, but you just say that, will it be a Yeti, will it be Kyogo, Maeda? You don't know who's going to be playing. Will it be Johnson out wide as a curveball? There's so many of these things that you can play. I don't know if Johnson's fit, to be fair, but there's a lot of these options we've got. And I think psychologically as well with Kyogo, see the fact, I like the fact, Barry, but he says the last game, Kyogo was running about all week at training trying to get his... But yeah, he says, I didn't think we had to have him that game. That oozes so much confidence that we didn't need to play what you would call your star striker so far this year. I know Jackie Marcus has played really well, and I rate him very highly. I think it's going to be very hard to drop him when he's fit because he's really good. You've got Maeda. The fact that he says we don't need him for this game, that shows you the confidence that we've got, the confidence he's got in the team. So if he's firing on all cylinders and he is going to be playing, like he says, how do I prepare for that? They've not seen Kyogo at his fruits. I don't think it's all right saying they played against fucking Marco Reus for Dortmund, etc. But domestically, they've not played against Kyogo at their full fruits. Get these guys on their A game, so it's going to be I'm excited, mate. I'm excited to see how we turn up because if we turn up, mate, I can only see one winner. You've got guys like Abada scoring 17, 18 goals. Jota's got all these assists and goals. Maeda's, you've got so much going forward. And even if you look about the backline, you have no question marks about the backline anymore. As much as people I know I've hummed and hard about Greg Taylor all season, right? But the guy's played well the last few games, so I can't knock him. So he's had the right to play left back and knowing that he's going to play well. I'm no nervous again, mate. I wasn't nervous the last game or the game before. I was very confident. I said it would be 3-0 in the second game. It was. I did say it'd be a doing the second game, and it was, but it was a doing on the reflection of the performance. So you've got to think you're going to go and win the game. But we all know these games, Barry. It's a semi-final. You don't want to be too confident because anything can happen. It's cup football. It's all about winning. But the way we are playing, Barry, and the options you've got, like you say, if Kyogo does play, you've got so much excitement towards the game.
Yeah, and actually, I think that's a great observation you've made there. When Ange mentioned that Kyogo was showing up here, there, and everywhere, trying to be noticed and desperate to play, and it went a wee bit unnoticed what Ange said, that he didn't feel he needed him for that game. I mean, you're spot on. That's confidence. That is proper confidence, and also trust in his squad. And I think that is something we've got. You know, what do you think to yourself there? I don't remember the last time that we had a squad of maybe 16 players where you just feel relaxed that any number of those players could play and it won't weaken your team. And that's a luxury to have, isn't it? Because you know you're going to get injuries and suspensions and different things throughout a season, and to be able to rely on your so-called squad players or your rotation players to come in and just stay the same job is fantastic. And you're right, I don't believe they've got that. They just don't have that at all. But usually, you know, in big games, it's always a factor who gets the first goal. And for them, maybe not so much because, you know, they only need to look back some weeks ago. They took the lead and couldn't hold it. But you would have to think, see if we get the first goal of the day, especially if it's early, say the first sort of 20 minutes, what would that do to them? What would that do to their spirit, their beliefs? What would it do to their legs? Because they did play 120 minutes on Thursday. So I think the first goal of the day is, like always, going to be so important, but I think it's more important for us in the sense that, really, if we get the first goal of the day, we could go on and stamp our authority on this game. I really feel that. And what would they do to their fans as well in the stadium? I mean, if Celtic score the first goal, it's going to cause a real fear in their fans as well. So I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll go out, and I think for the first minute, I think you're going to see a Celtic team that's going to go full throttle. They've had a full week off, no midweek games. Other than Giacomakis, I believe, maybe Mikey Johnson, as you said, we've got a full squad. I know Forrest is fit for the game, Turnbull's fit for the game, so, and obviously the main man, Kyogo. So it just, looking ahead, I'm the same as you, Ryan. All I can see is a Celtic victory, and I don't say that in arrogance, I just say it in confidence.
I'm agreeing with you, Barry. It's a big difference between being confident and arrogant. I don't think you can be arrogant in these games because, let's be fair, I don't think they're a good team, right? But they've got to a European final. They've been doing all right this year. They're still your biggest rivals. They're still the closest team that can beat you in Scotland. So you need to respect them in that sense. But it will be a hard game. They will come out firing. I'm gonna make a prediction in the sense I think there'll be a lot of cards today, mate. I think there'll be a lot of cards. I maybe know for your side, but I think for their side, I think if we do get an early goal, Barry, I think there'll be a few cards. I actually said it yesterday to my mate, and I was working, so I couldn't get a bet on. But I said about the Hibs and Hearts game, there'll be so many cards in that game, and I guarantee if I put a kick on it, I'd have got one up because there was so many cards. And I think that might be the same day. Normally these games you do get a lot of cards, but I think today there'll be a few tackles. Maybe because it's a pressure game that both teams, let's be fair, both teams need to win. Both teams want to win. So, and we all know, I don't know if you think, Barry, right? This is not a thing against referees, right? The referee's going to be important today. He's got to keep the two teams controlled. If he lets the game get ahead of him, it could mess it up for both teams. You don't want that. You want the game to be a spectacle. You want it to be obviously good for us, but you don't want the game to lose control. You don't want I'm sure it's Bobby Madden, the referee, in it. You don't want him to lose control. I know he's done these games before. He probably is one of the better ones, to be fair, if that's any saving grace. But I think the referee, Barry, might be an important factor today.
Always, mate. Always, and it can be the difference in games because if you get a man sent off, you're up against it. It doesn't matter what team you're playing. If you go down to 10 men, it just makes the task much harder. So I don't know. I always hope in these games that the referee goes into it with a mindset of avoiding giving that first yellow card. I just think that's so important. Hold off until it's absolutely necessary to give that yellow card, because if you get a yellow early in these games, I think you've given yourself a mountain to climb, because every tackle after that, you're going to half the stadium screaming for that person to be booked. So I think you give yourself unnecessary pressure if you do that. But no, the rest will be really important. All I would say is that, from our point of view, our discipline this season has been exceptional, and our players' attitude has been first class. And I don't think you see a player in our team who you would say uses the dark arts or is, stretching the rules. Or I just don't think we have that type of player. I think they're an honest bunch, and I think they play the game fairly. And Ange Postecoglou has said over and over again about his recruitment process. It's about the person as well. So I think we've got a squad of players there who are pretty in control of their emotions, and we've got the perfect captain for this game as well, haven't we? I mean, we've got a guy there who has learned to be one of the best in Bruni. He's fitted into that role seamlessly, just without any confusion whatsoever. He's made it his own. I love the way he captains the club and the team on the park. I think he's done a stellar job, McGregor. And in the last game we played against him, it was McGregor that took the game by the scruff of the neck, really, and made that run through and goes back into the game. So I think the referee is going to be vital, Ryan. I also think, I don't know about yourself, but I've got a feeling that we'll see the value in Joe Hart today as well. I think we'll see what it means in these big games to have a goalkeeper that you can trust.
Yeah, mate, well, other day I put it on Twitter, just says we were lucky to have him, and to be fair, the tweet blew up. I didn't expect it to get as much retweets and likes it did, but I just put up saying that, because I watched his interview with it was a press conference, and just the way he spoke and the mindset of him, the mindset of the squad, and I'm thinking, this guy's fucking top draw. Just, he's got a mindset, people might think I sound stupid here, but he's got the mindset of a Premier League football player. He's played at a high level. He's played at international level. You get guys who've not played at maybe the highest level. They might play with Celtic, but have not played at that level. And some of the comments you make sometimes a wee bit iffy. But the way he talks the way I think Ange talks. It's all about the mindset. It's all about the next game. Same with Starfelt. I loved that about Starfelt before the last Glasgow derby, where he was in front of the Rangers crest, maybe try to intimidate him with questions, and he just went, just another game. That mindset is superb. And then it showed you John Lundstrom, and he was like, oh, it's a massive game, and this and that. They were hyping themselves up. Oh, it's a big game. And you've got fucking Starfelt saying, we just play like we're playing Hibs. That's fucking, that attitude's phenomenal. I love that attitude. But I'm agreeing with you, Barry. I think Joe Hart, obviously the season will finish yet. You don't want to talk about players of the year, but for the £1 million super value, I couldn't believe there was guys who were iffy about the signing. I could not believe we were getting for £1 million. He's only 33. I think he's coming 34. Goalkeepers sometimes peak at this age. Never mind 21, 22. He still looks he's got 2 or 3 years at the 3 and 4 years at highest level. He's been superb. He's put a mistake, but it's somewhat the way Craig Gordon with Rodgers. Rodgers wanted Gordon to play the ball out for the back. Joe Hart's only doing what his manager's asking him to do. That's just what he's been told to do. So if he makes a mistake, I don't think he's going to get criticised by Ange because he's been told to do that. Don't get angry, Barry. Us as fans, it gives us a few heart attacks, but it's that's just the way you go when your manager wants to play for the back.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, mate. And you're right to talk about his mindset because, all right, we talk a lot about people's footballing abilities and their skill set and their work rate, so on and so on. But mindset is vital. And I think that Joe Hart is an elite goalkeeper. I do. You look at the level he's played at, the amount of caps he's had for England, the level he's played at, and it was just our good fortune, really, that his career over the past sort of 18 months, 2 years before he came to us, it had just sort of slipped under the radar. He wasn't playing a lot of games, and for whatever reason, the clubs down south just, he hadn't caught an eye. And you look back on it now, and it seems an obvious signing, right? Joe Hart, the pedigree. But there wasn't a whole list of teams wanting to sign him. So you look back on it now and you go, what an amazing bit of business that was. Because I've not had any period of this season at all where I've felt nervous about the goalkeeper. And go back to the season previously, I mean, your heart was in your mouth. Any time the ball went near, I mean, a shot for 30 yards, the ball 3 times and you were going, oh no. Now, he's done what a good goalkeeper should do. He's just made you feel relaxed. But no, his mindset, he's a captain within that team. There's no doubt. I mean, he's captain material. The way he keeps his composure, the level he's played at. So we're dead fortunate to have him. And I think I'd like to hope we don't need to talk about him today because that'll mean that we've had all the ball and all the chances. But the reality is he might need to make 1 or 2 saves today, important saves. And I just feel confident that if called upon, he'll do it.
Obviously, I think the 2 goalkeepers will be a big talking point today, Barry. Obviously, McGregor, people might might not want me to praise him, but the guy is a top-class goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yes, he's made a lot of mistakes this year because he's getting older. It's going to happen. I says it when Scott Brown played quite a lot last year, and I thought it was maybe a year too much to play at that level every game. I thought he should have been managed better. And I think you're seeing maybe that, and I says that to a few of my guys I know Rangers fans about Steve Davis and Alan McGregor this year. Stephen Davis is a very good player, and I actually hope he's not playing today because he's actually a very good player. Him and McGregor getting a new deal to extend them to this year, I thought was maybe a year too much for them, considering the way we were going to maybe play this year. But I hope he's not going to have a good game today, because even the last 2 games, he's had a fantastic 2 games. We've still won the games, but it could have been even more goals because the amount of saves he makes is phenomenal. We've not had to make too many saves the last 2 games with Joe Hart, but the one again, I think Saka or Salah, can't remember the guy's name, for Rangers. That was some save that Joe Hart made. Dived into his left hand post. So he won't need to be alert. I think he will be, but I just think that if we start off, we were going to start. I'm still humming and having who he plays. I still think he'll maybe keep the same team, Barry, for the last game. I think it will be Hart, Juranovic, the 2 centre backs, Vickers and Starfelt. I think Taylor will play at the back, left back. I think he'll stick with Hatate, McGregor, and Rogic, and I think he'll play Maeda, Jota, and Abada. Just straight 4-3-3. I don't think he'll make too many changes. But if you're O'Reilly, you might be a bit sick if you're not playing because you've come on against St Johnstone, scored 2 goals and been superb. So he's got a very, like you say, mate, there's so many options to play. If you did play Beaton in there in the middle, you wouldn't be too fussed because you know he's going to do a job. So you've got so much to play for and to play for.
Yeah, and it's a great point you make because O'Reilly will be wanting to start this game. He will be looking at that and thinking, I've done enough to get my position in that starting team, because the game at Parkhead, his first Old Firm game, he was outstanding. O'Reilly was absolutely outstanding in that game. He obviously got his 2 goals last week. And Abada as well will be looking to start the game because he's been a wee bit unlucky with some wee knocks and whatnot. But in terms of if he's fit and he's available, he's going to be looking at it and thinking, this is a game I want to start. And it's the semi-final of a cup, it's at Hampden, they're going to be suited and booted. You know, they're going to go through the whole build up to it themselves as players. I mean, can you imagine the excitement levels as a player? Getting, ready to go out, join your teammates and go on the coach and sample Hampden Park. And it must be amazing for them. So they're all going to want to be involved, including Kyogo. I mean, if he was jumping about at the training ground for the last game, can you imagine what he's been like in the build up to this game? He's probably been doing cartwheels in front of the manager. But no, it's just at that stage now, mate. And I hope to see our team go on the front foot. I hope to see our team go there and impose their game. I hope we're just too much for them. I hope our energies, our attacks, our rotation, I hope we just overwhelm them with that and get that all important early goal, mate. So, what's your prediction?
Well, the last 7 we played against them, I think we beat them 4-0. It was Rogic scored a goal, and I get that bet up, so I'm going to bet it again. So I'm going to say 4-0 Rogic. If I was talking from my head, Barry, I just want us to win. I don't care how we win, if it's a last-minute penalty, last-minute own goal, if we get absolutely destroyed the full game, but we win, I couldn't care. But I don't know. I mean, JP just says there, or Jotty Boy, there's rumours about Cam McGregor being out today. I think it's probably just rumours, mate. I've need to check myself, but I can't see that. There's been no inkling of that the last 2 or 3 days. So unless something's popped up this morning, I don't know, mate. But it's the first I've heard of that, so it'll be interesting to see. But you know, Barry, there's always these rumours in the morning about guys being injured and guys not playing and who's going to be playing. So I take anything for a pinch of salt to get the game and to see the team lines. But prediction wise, mate, I'm going to go 3-0 Celtic. I think we're going to win, mate. I think we're going to get a clean sheet, especially if we start off quickly. I just think that, I know Rangers fans are very high me about Morelos not playing. They've still got Roof. People might say Roof isn't effective. The guy's done well for Rangers. He scored a lot of goals for Rangers. I think it's like 35, 36 goals and like 60 odd starts for Rangers. So you can't knock the guy. He will be a threat for us. For me, the only threat they've got, I know he's not really played well this year. I don't rate him that much, but it's probably Ryan Kent. He's probably the only threat. I think they might play him and I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Sakala? I think they'll play they two for pace. But if you've got Juranovic on that side, you've got Taylor, but you've got Jota and Abada Colour on that side. So I don't think that'll hurt us that way. But Sean says, Monroe, was it too early for a beer? No, mate, it's never too early for a beer in these games. I think he'll. I think as much as I don't think Ryan Kent's a good player, mate, I think if Ryan Kent's on form, he will give a bit of an issue because he is quick, he is tricky. He's got that in him. But I think if it's Juranovic right back, mate, which I think it will be, I don't think any hassle with it. So I'm going to say 3-0, Barry. A clean sheet and a dominant performance. Again, we can say this and then in the 4 or 5 years' time, we've got egg in our face, but listen, I always say you've got to comment on what you feel at the time and what I feel now. I think it's a 3-0 victory. I don't want to say it's a comfortable 3-0 victory because there will be a few tackles, there will be a few issues in the game, but I'm very, very confident, Barry, on the game. What about yourself, mate?
Aye, no, just to reaffirm what you're saying there about the discipline, I hope, and I'm sure we're going to get there and keep our cool and play the game and know the atmosphere. I've got a lot of trust in the players to do that. I think it'll be 3-1 Celtic. I think that with the occasion, with the fans being 50-50, I think it would be a tall order to keep them out and to have a clean sheet in the game. So I'm going to give them that one goal, but I think we're going to put 3 past them today, mate, and I've just got, maybe it's that Celtic bias, but I've just got the feeling that Kyogo is going to score today. I've just got a good feeling Kyogo's going to score today, mate, and yeah, I think we're going to be celebrating at the end of that match, I'm sure.
I hope so, Barry. I really hope so. Kyogo's going to be a question mark whether he plays or no. Either way, if he does start or he doesn't, you're laughing because you know he's in the squad, and like you says, it does give us a big bonus going into the game, even just him being there. So hopefully we win the game, mate, and then the fucking treble's on. But again, don't want to talk about that because it's early days, mate, on the game, the morning of the match. But again, Barry, thanks for your time, mate. And hopefully, like you say, we'll be celebrating at the end of the match.
Magic. Right, Ryan, enjoy the game. Hail, hail.
Take care, mate. Hail, hail.